All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Nelson Haskin back with the BeBall Jones podcast. Today I get the pleasure of interviewing the main guy himself, BeBall Jones, aka Brian Jones. And so today he let me be the host so he can answer the questions the same as he did for me before in the last episode. So first things first, let's get straight into it. So man, tell us about yourself and who you are for the people who may not know, your new subscribers. I mean, I know this is your channel and everything like that, but for the people who may not know everything about you, just tell us about yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, man. So I'm BeBall Jones, Coach B. That my players know me as. Just a trainer out of Birmingham, Alabama. Born and raised here. Uh, Work on the actual on-court skills, the athletic development. The fitness component as far as getting a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, just making sure you physically fit for the court. Also touch on the mental training, the biggest aspect I'll probably say of my training part that I love to tap into the most. Um, just a young guy here trying to grow a business, man. That's all I do. Got a vision and a dream, trying to pursue it and play my part to the basketball community, world overall, man. That's it, man. Just a young guy with a hustle. I'm trying to describe myself right now.
I feel that, man. That's good. That's great. So what made you want to become a basketball trainer? What made you want to start training younger players?
So my whole thing with that is basically I wanted to become the person that I wish I had when I was younger. Growing up, I didn't have a trainer. I didn't have a coach that'll pull me to the side and be like, man, if you just did this, that, and the third, this could grow your game. And just, I ain't had an OG that put me on game and like help me out with everything. So that's what really wanted me. That's what made me want to tap into it. And, as a point with most hoopers, we see that our career ain't going the way we wanted to go. And I was like, all right, I got to figure out something else to stay a part of the game. And just training fit me the most, man. Like, I'm able to still be around the game. I can hoop a little bit when I want to. And training just fits me. I like teaching a little bit. I like educating on whatever I do have some knowledge about. So I feel like training just fit me the best out of anything. So that's what really got me into it, man.
Sounds good, man. So you take a lot of pleasure in helping younger players the way you wish somebody could have helped you.
Of course, man. Because my parents didn't know a lot about basketball. They weren't the most hoop savvy. So they did the best they could. And I'll always be grateful and appreciative of that. But just, you need that extra little basketball knowledge behind on how to get you in certain areas, how to move certain ways. Like, I didn't have that. And so it's like, all right, I wish I would have had that. And I know there's a couple 100,000 other kids that wish they had this too. So my job right now is to be that and to give that to those kids around like I was. So
it's good, man, that you try to give back to the basketball community like that in that kind of way. So what are your expectations for the players that you train, and like what do you expect out of them when they're with you in their training sessions?
With my training sessions, man, like for the newer kids, I have this thing where either I'm trying to, it depends on how you're coming at me. So if you're coming in, I can see you're nervous and you're a little shy. I'm gonna try to joke with you and like find something to where you feel comfortable. So I actually had a session today with this girl who's new to me. Had a warming up on a bike and I just asked her a question like what she like to do and stuff. So I had her, she was telling me she liked dancing. So I found something I could bring her back comfortable to throughout the session. So all my analogy and everything would go back to dancing. So she felt comfortable automatically with that. And I'll joke and stuff with her to break that tension down. And so it's like, number one, I just want you to be comfortable with me. Like, no, I'm a chill dude and just be comfortable. Then as the time grows, like my thing is a lot of times people pressure us in general, but young kids specifically like to be perfect. And one of the first things I make sure you know is that I don't care about mess ups. I don't care about mistakes. Like, I'm here to make you mess up, to let you grow and evolve your game. If you don't make mistakes here, where are you going to make them? Because in the game, you're getting pulled out if you make a mistake. You get too many turnovers, you drew the ball off your foot too many times, you're getting subbed out and you're not playing. But training session, that's what you're here for. And so it's like being able to express yourself and have that freedom and creativity to like be allowed to be comfortable, be yourself, and be able to make mistakes. That's my biggest thing with players. And just know they got somebody they can talk to, man, outside of basketball, and somebody to bounce ideas off of overall, and just like have somebody in your corner. So that's my thing with my players, man. I want them to know that whether you with me for a week, a month, or 10 years, man, like you got somebody in your corner that's with you, and just like you can be yourself, you can be comfortable, you're allowed to make mistakes, you're allowed to grow. And that's what I really want my players to understand about, training with me. So hopefully I do a good job of that with them.
No, I'm sure you do, man. You a pretty good guy. So, so you mentioned before that you wish you had a trainer or a coach pull you to the side and tell you exactly what you needed to work on to get better at for you to be successful. So tell us a little bit about your playing career. Like, how far did you go playing basketball, and what was that like for you?
Oh man, I feel like an old man saying this, but shoot, I actually started playing probably like 6, 7, 8, maybe. Now I'll probably say about 7 or 8. Went all the way up through high school, man. Ended up playing 2 years of high school ball, my freshman and sophomore year. Didn't make the team my junior year, and I got hurt going into my senior year, messed up my knee. So I couldn't even try to even have the opportunity, man. So ended up running track my last 2 years doing that. But my playing career wasn't the best, wasn't the most luxurious. It was a struggle to say the least. But I'm taking all of that as a learning experience for everything I am now. Just opportunities that I missed out on, the things I wish I would have had, the ideas that I had that I didn't even go forward with because I was basically shy and didn't have the confidence in myself to do it. But yeah, man, I played all the way up to my sophomore year, man, and then that was a wrap for me as far as a player. And I guess that will kind of birthed my training career after that. So that's it for me.
Did you know you wanted to be a trainer at that point?
Nah, at that point I was still hard-headed on trying to figure out how I can play. I know I wanted to run track because I ran track before when I was younger, like in middle school and before, but got away from it because I was basketball or die all my life. And at that point, I just kind of like struggling, like scratching and clawing, trying to figure out what I need to do to keep playing. And I didn't get really into training as far as knowing I wanted to do it until like a couple years into college, really. Maybe a year or two in college. But at that point in high school, I was still stuck on trying to figure out how to play. But nah.
But that's still a great thing, because as you said, you take it as a learning experience. A lot of people would have felt this adversity and probably would have fell out of love with the game. I've seen a lot of people do that, especially when they get hurt or when they can't play for a whole year. It's hard to kind of maintain that love when you can't play, or be someone who wants to play and then it's taken away from you, or you, like you said, you didn't make the team, something like that. A lot of guys fall out of love with the game, but you found, instead of just falling out of love with it, you found a new route to be in the game, to remain in the game. And so I just find I got a lot of respect for somebody like that who can, instead of just taking what they wanted to do and when that's not available, just put it down altogether. You found another route to stay in the same lane and to stay in the same field. And so I got a lot of respect for that.
I appreciate that, man.
It's no problem, bro. So tell us about what you do as a coach. You coach players? Do you coach a team? What do you do in the coaching side of it?
Yeah, man. It was weird, man. Like, I never wanted to be a coach. That's one of the first things I knew I did not want to do after my playing career. I just felt like coaching was too much pressure. It was just too much, like the negative side of coaching is what I didn't want to deal with. And that's what kind of shied me away from it. Like the fact that I have to structure a program out for a team to like develop me, get you better within that system. Like that would kind of bother me. It's like trying to deal with parents was a big thing with me. Like, why is my kid not playing? My boy's, he's a D1 recruit in the 6th grade, so why ain't he playing? Like, bro, you dude, this is the first time you picked up basketball, man. Like, your son's not that good. That's why he's not playing. Like, I'm not trying to deal with that whole part. But as time went on, the guy I'm working with right now has his own travel ball AAU organization. And he ended up just asking me, you want to coach with us? And I was like, might as well. I just gave it a shot. Like, I saw it as a bigger opportunity to tie back into training. So I feel like it made sense for me to, jump into that. And as far as coaching, I ended up enjoying it a lot, man. It's just the part of coaching I love right now is like, especially with the players I train, is like we putting in work during the training sessions, and I'm able to see you using that move or using whatever I taught you right before my eyes. Like, that's a beautiful thing. Like, I just taught you how to deal with a certain situation and you use it. It's like, I just won. Like, forget the outcome of the game. I just won because training is my love. Like, to see you actually use that, it's just like I had a guy who I train right now. He sends me clips here and there of like games he's in and stuff we use on the training session. Like, he sends me that. And I'm like, that makes me so proud, bro. Like, to know that our work is not in vain. Like, you actually using it. So as a coach, man, it's fun, man. I love it. Because I know beginning, like I said, I didn't want to do it at first. It's something weird for me. But as time's gone on, I've grown to really like it and appreciate it. So it's a new experiment for me, but I'm enjoying it, man. It's a fun ride so far.
That's good, man. I can kind of relate to that. Working on a move and then seeing it in action. And I can see you taking pride in, what you taught them and them actually using it. So, but you touched on something that I kind of wanted to ask you now at this point. So, you said coaching your players that you also train, and then you see them use the move that you taught them. It's like, forget the outcome, I already won. So, I was going to ask you, would you rather be a highly respected coach or a highly respected personal trainer, like a well-known personal trainer? So which one would it be? You'll take the trainer.
Trainer. Like I said, coaching's cool, man. Like, I like it. I'm enjoying it, but ain't nothing like training, man. Like, being in that gym, like that environment, like that's what I love. I mean, don't get me wrong, coaching is like it's fun, but like it's a different like part of the brain you have to tap, like basketball brain you have to tap into the coach. And it's like that whole like the thought process of how to like forget about actually in the game in season. That begins like off season. Like, you have to strategize and develop, your offensive schemes, defensive schemes, your philosophies, all that stuff. You have to do that way before off season. Now I have to figure out how to get this culture and everything for my team. Now I have to implement it during preseason, in season. You have to deal with all this stuff. Like, it's a whole different level of thought process that you have to deal with compared to training. And I have a lot of respect for that. All respect for coaches, but training ain't nothing like it, man. Like, that's my baby, man. Like, I just really respect like seeing the development of a kid, not just on the court, but off the court too. Like, seeing how players can grow and develop, like having that relationship with them and seeing how they mature over time is something that you can't touch. Like, that's the most precious thing to me with my training. Like, I love that, man. So if I had to pick one to be most respected as, it would be a trainer, hands down.
Okay, I can respect that. Like, that's very true. That what you say about being a coach is a very different mindset. With being a trainer, it's like not to demean it in any kind of way, but it's more of a one-track thing. Like, we're gonna get you better and develop your skills and make you the best player that you could be. But as a coach, it's like a lot of different factors you have to think about. Like, of course, we want to get better. Or you want your team to get better as a whole rather than individual players get better. More when you're the coach, you kind of just want the individual players to get better on their own. Of course, we're gonna do drills for that and things like that. But they have to want it for themselves. And if you being the trainer, you are the wanting wanting it for
Exactly.
themselves. You are that person. So I kind of see why you would say that though.
Yeah, I can be a little
So
selfish as a trainer and just be like, I can root for this one player and one player only. But as a coach, I have to pull for everybody.
everybody.
But unless I'm training multiple kids on that team, which isn't that common for certain situations, but it's just like for the most part, I'm very selfish. I want my kid to touch the ball. I'm almost like a parent. I want my kids to touch the ball every time. Like we dropping 30, bro. Like I'm selfish. Like Pat
Give the
swinging
ball to my
to him,
kids.
swinging the ball every time. ISO 4 flat, pick their own kid, put the ball in their hands, let them go to work. Like, but, but yeah, man. Like it's different. Like, but I still root for the team overall because I don't want to have a kid that's 0-30, but they dropping 15 points, 20 points a game. Like that's not fun. Like, so I still root for the overall team, but I'm a little selfish when it comes to that.
I got you. So let me ask you a different variation to that question. So
Mm-hmm.
would you rather be like not a personal trainer, I guess, but a team trainer? Like they bring you in to train the entire team for, let's say, Duke men's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They bring you in to you hold a whole team clinic every like once a week or twice a week, whatever. You are their trainer. Or would you rather have an individual kid that you knew in your own mind was going to be the next LeBron James? Would you rather train that one kid or train a whole team full of potential superstars, potential NBA stars, or just great basketball players? So which would you rather be a part of?
If I had to pick one, so I get that one kid and it's like nobody else.
I mean, you still do your same training business. Like you could train multiple kids, whatever. You still do your same thing, but this one kid comes to you and becomes a part of your program, but you just know deep down he will become the next LeBron James or she will become the next Candace Parker. You already have that foresight.
And it's tough. I pick as enticing as being the trainer for Duke sounds, I'd probably pick having that one LeBron or that Candace Parker, Maya Moore type player. Because even though, don't get me wrong, that's a 1 in a million type of, thing to have. But
right.
The thing about being at Duke is that I don't feel, this might sound very selfish, but I wouldn't feel like what's the word? Like,
you don't feel like you're getting the credit?
Not necessarily credit, but like the fulfillment of like the development of that kid.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like having somebody that's already, like, once you get kids that do, most of those guys are pretty much pros at that point. Like only a handful of those people are really going pro. And it's like, at that point, it's just like, you only getting that kid for a year, maybe two, and they're already pretty much pro players at that point. You know what I mean? For the most part. But to develop a kid to get them to that point will be a lot more rewarding. Like I feel like it's more.
You don't feel as involved.
Yeah. Like I feel like I'm not really doing anything at that point. Like it's cool to say I'm the head trainer, player development at Duke, but it's like, am I really developing players is my thing. Which I could be, but I feel like I'm gonna earn that money's worth developing that kid all the way up to be a pro. I feel like that's more rewarding and fulfilling overall. That's a good one.
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely see the pros and cons of both. But to be involved with that one kid and see him or her grow into that successful, like a superstar, like because I said next to LeBron or Maya Moore or Candace Parker. So to see a kid at a young age develop into that superstar, and you were a big part of that and their development, it's probably not a whole lot of more fulfilling things than that.
Yeah, and it's like it's no telling what can happen after that too, because it's like, oh, you train LeBron, you train Steph, like ain't no telling what's gonna happen after that. Like
you're gonna be just as big in your own field.
Exactly. Like I might not be like, I know who LeBron. I don't know LeBron trainer, but I know who he is. Like I'm aware of that industry. He's not the most popular guy, but believe he's set for life. Like, come on, that's LeBron James. You didn't help me get to this point. Like you set for life, bro. Like if I got it, you got it.
You got it. And he always gonna have him to shout him out or anything if he needed that.
Exactly.
I'm sure he big in Cleveland. I'm sure he doing fine if he stay in Cleveland.
Cleveland, shoot, probably LA still, even though he just got there. Maybe in Miami, like,
He
tell
got
him what he
business
can do.
wherever.
I gotta say, I was with LeBron, man. So, oh, come on in, sir. Got you. Like,
But that's great, bro. I like that answer. So what would you consider your perfect career as a trainer? What would be like 20, 30 years from now, maybe 40? What could you look back on and say, I did it perfectly and put it down or retire?
ooh, so my perfect career as just a trainer or overall business.
I would say just a trainer. I mean, obviously business is going to evolve and you'll find different aspects and different fields you want to kind of put your hands into. But as a trainer, what could you look back on and say, oh, okay, I did everything that I would like to do in this field?
All right. So specifically as a trainer, just kind of piggybacking off what we just talked about, man, I would like to like really play a role in developing some kids getting to like right now my goal is get them to college ball. Like get some kids to where they have free education. That's a big goal for me right now. Um Past that, I like to get some kids pro. Even if it's not NBA or WNBA, I like to get some kids pro to where they're getting paid now to do what they love doing. Like me, I'm getting paid to train, which is what I love to do. I like to get some kids to get paid to hoop like they love to do. Um, I won't set a number on that, but I would like to have multiple kids go pro. That would be a huge thing. Um, and a little bit deeper to like really add something overall to the hoop culture as far as training, where either it's like a perspective like Kobe did, man. Like he gave us Mamba mentality, and it really shifted the whole culture. Like that was a game changer for basketball overall. And it's like I want to find what I can do as a trainer in that lane. Like I ain't gonna be as big as Kobe, as big as LeBron, and the other like whoever the top trainer is right now. Like I might not be as big as them, but I want to have like an impact overall, like to really have an impact on the game as a trainer. Like when you look back, like you said, 40 years later, and be like, man, BeBall Jones came in and he like left a legacy for us, man. Like whether it's trainers looking up to me, seeing what I did, or if it's hoopers looking up to like the way I trained and the way I taught or whatever, it's like I want to have some type of impact and leave a legacy as far as that goes. So being able to have a couple figures on my check,
We all need that.
couple billies.
Couple million.
I want to get a billy before it's over with, but we'll see how that goes, man. I'm a little ambitious when it comes to that, but
You gotta be that though.
got to, man. Like, why not shoot for the top of the top?
Like if you ain't aiming too high, then you ain't too low. That's what Cole said.
I just thinking that too, man. It's a cold world, no blanket.
Oh man, y'all see how where we get our good little chemistry from? Cause we big Cole fans over here.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
But
man.
Go ahead.
I say I think that's all, man. Just I want to be successful, man. Just by my terms and by my definition. I ain't got to be the most popular guy. Like that's never been a thing of mine to be the most popular. Just want to be respected overall for my craft. Just be able to like sustain, like to be able to say like right now to be able to say like, all right, I'm living my life off of training. Like that's gonna be a blessing when I can say that, man. Like I'm able to live my life, provide for my family, whatever means necessary. I can travel how I want to, move how I want to, and all I do is teach kids how to dribble and shoot a basketball. You know what I mean? Like that's a blessing for me to be able to say that. And so ultimately, man, like that's what I want to really get to, man. Just be like, I impacted these kids in a very positive way, and off the court and on the court, I've been able to like add my legacy, add my input to the game. So that'll end up being like my perfect career I say if I retire, but I never want to retire. But like you said, when I look back at a certain point, that's what I want my legacy to be at that point. That's be my career.
I like it, man. I like it. So, what would you say is your favorite memory as a coach or a trainer, as being a part of a kid's life or a team? What would you say is your favorite memory where you could look back on it like, man, this was a proud moment for me?
Oh, I know off top. So, I had this little kid, man. Man, when I say this dude, like, he's super sweet, bro. Like, he a real good dude, man. My guy Sam. So, I was working with him a couple of times, man. And he was his dad told me that he was struggling with confidence basically because he's playing up like 2 or 3 grades. And he was struggling with his confidence because he's not doing as well as he did before. Like he doesn't understand how to get his shots off and all this other stuff that comes with playing up like that. Had a couple talks with him, couple sessions, and just like told him, like, understand, like, put everything in perspective. Like, bro, you playing up, like he was in 3rd grade at the time. Like, bro, you playing up 3 grades. Like, you playing with 6th graders, 5th and 6th graders. There's only so much you can do. And you're short for a 3rd grader too. Like, he was shorter, like a lot shorter at that time. So it's like, you're playing up 2 and 3 grades. You're already super short. So it's like, you're not going to ball out. I'm just being honest with you, man. Like, you're not going to sit here and dominate like you were doing before. Not dominate, but play as well as you're doing before. And so your goal right now is to like figure out what you can do. So how are you messing up? Told me how he was messing up. I was like, oh, that's an easy fix. All you gotta do is this right here. Boom, did that. Like, okay, I got it, coach. Then talked to him about something else he was struggling with. Then after that session, Dad was like, thanks. They left, came back the next week. Like, how's practice going, man? Oh, that's all right. Got a little better with it. So what else going on? Told me about it, another situation he had. Helped him out with that. Then like basketball, I think he was dealing with that, but still really struggling with his confidence stuff off the court. And like you know how if you dealing with something off the court, it bleeds to being on the court, or you dealing with something on the court, it bleeds to being off the court. And so it's like it's a chicken and an egg type of thing. So he's dealing with that, and it was like his confidence overall is kind of being hurt. And then I was like, I flipped it again. So I was like, bro, you playing up, think about it. You're 3rd grade playing on 5th and 6th graders. That's how good you are, man. Like, ain't too many 3rd graders playing up, like actually playing. He's not just on the team, he's playing. Like, he's getting burned with this team. Like, that's a confidence booster, bro. Like, that's, you're not thinking about that. He's like, no, sir. Exactly, man. Like, you're that good. Like, you can shoot the ball that well. Like, he can shoot. When I tell you he can shoot, he can shoot. So it's like, you got to think about that, man. Like, you doing your thing. Like, take that as a confidence boost. And so, but in that session, man, he was real happy because he finally understood all that. And then I ended up telling him that session, man, like, all right, bro, like, you can shoot, but we're going to sit down and like really tweak your form because his form was pretty bad. Like, you know how most kids shoot with 2-handed and it's a little push shot. Like, that's his shot before, but he was making them, so it's just like, can't say too much. But he's so young, it's like, it ain't gonna hurt that bad to fix his shot. So taught him some drills he should do, gave him reps and everything. When I tell you, bro, that next week he came back, his form was completely different. Like, it's a 180 change from his shot. Like, it was like, it went from a little push shot to like an actual one-handed, you know, guy hand or control hand follow through. It's like, it was perfect at that point for, you know, that level of playing. And then that was like, I wasn't proud about me at that point because it's like, I wasn't the one that went home and did the drills. Like, it was him. I didn't want to put in the work. I was proud of him at that point. And the way he came back and how good he felt, that made me feel proud. Like, dang, I do know what I'm talking about, just a little bit, man. Like, I'm a decent trainer at this point, you know. And then
maybe I am good at this.
Exactly. I was like, dang, bro, like that was I told him to do that. And he did it. Okay, maybe I can train a little bit, you know. And then like maybe a month or 2 later, his mom texted me. She was like, we're trying to figure out scheduling stuff. And she was like, by the way, really appreciate everything you've been doing with my son. Like, he's grown so much since he's been with you, and like not just on the court, but off the court. His confidence has grown. He loves training and working with you. man, when I tell you I got done reading that paragraph, I was just like,
Hey man, that's nice though, bro. When you know you making that impact on somebody, and even their parents will notice that's cool, man.
yeah, man. It took me a minute. I was like, dang, bro, like that's why I want to train, man. Like that right there is why I really got into training. It's like for that to
Those
happen, bro.
moments.
That moment right there, man. Like that was validation, like confirmation for me that I'm on the right track, man. Like I say that I screenshot that text, man. It's just like I was like that, man. Like that took me out the game for me. And I was like, dang, bro, like man, like. And then that's probably my number one thing from training, man. Like that whole situation, like I saw it before my eyes, like in a week. Like I've never seen anybody have that type of jump in 1 week, like ever in life, like period. So like for that to happen, that was a real honorable moment. And got this another young lady I work with, man. That's my girl, man. She she had a nice little jump in her game too. It wasn't as quick as that, but like the way she developed so quickly within less than a year for sure. But like the way she developed so quick was like very fun for me because starting off she couldn't do too much. She was struggling with dribbling the ball, struggling with overall control, how to shoot and everything. Like, and then within a couple months, she was, a lot better. She was more in control and everything. Like that was a big jump for me. Like that really gave me more validation as a trainer to be like, dang, bro, I am kind of good at this. Like I can train a little bit. So that's another huge moment for me, man. Like seeing her develop. And then over time, like the dad was really like, man, we like working with you, man. Like I like how you train, I like how you handle everything. Like she got a lot better with you, so we like that. So that's my easily my top two most favorite training moments. As a coach, man, so it's kind of bittersweet when I say this, but so with my coaching, we ended up having two teams on our sixth grade teams. I ended up coaching one of them. The other guy I told you before, he coached the other one. And so with this team I had, we weren't the most skilled team. We had a younger team, less experienced team, but we had some players that could play. So we went into this tournament where it was a big exposure tournament. And so we ended up playing this team from Tennessee that was like a really solid team. Like they gave a lot of good teams some problems. And so we ended up playing them twice. First time we played them, it was rough, man. Like we ended up getting smoked that game. But the one thing I always told my kids is that I don't care if we up or down, like we're gonna play the game, we're gonna play how we play from jump to finish. Like we're gonna play hard, we're gonna play aggressive, we're gonna do our thing. I don't care what the score is, I don't care what the time is, we're gonna play our game. And so that first game we played, then we got smoked. Like it was easily, I think like 30, 40 point blowout. Like it was terrible. Like
Oof.
I'm telling you, bro, it's rough. But then like that game, we was missing players too. We was missing like 2 or 3 out of my top 5 players on that team. So that's a tough for any team. I don't care who you are. Like, so we lost a couple of them girls I had, and then we ended up playing later on that tournament, and we ended up losing maybe 16, 20 points that second game. And it was like for that jump to happen, I think like with either that same day or the next day, by the same exact team, like that's tough to do, man. Like think about mentally, if you just got blown out by like 50 points, you see on the next game, it's like, here we go again, man. We're gonna get blown out by 70 now. So I don't know what them girls ate. I don't know what them girls drank before, but they was like, we not gonna have this happen again, man. So like for them to turn around and be like, to have that league get cut down that much, and it's like the way they fought was like they gave the other team problems. Like they weren't just finna lay down. Like, and that's easy to do. Like to say we got smoked by 40, we finna just lay down and let y'all get it again. But they ended up fighting, and that was a very proud moment for me. And then end up having that coach from the other team end up telling the other guy, the director of the program I was with, she was like, man, I really respect that team you had because, you know, for some reason those girls wouldn't give up. Like no matter what, they just didn't give up. And I told them that, like, we ain't finna give up on this game. Like, I don't care what the score is, like, we just gonna play our game. And the coach was telling him that, you know, I don't know what those girls were doing, but they just wouldn't give up. Like, and so it was like that was probably my proudest coaching moment. Like, that's why I say it's bittersweet because we still lost by like 20, but for that lead to get cut down by half like that, and it's just like for them to still fight regardless, like that was a very proud moment for me to where it's like y'all played so what another coach gave us a compliment no matter how bad that score was. And that's like, I feel like a coach, like I said, I don't know that much about coaching, but I feel like a coach can always take that as a huge compliment that your team played, you played by your identity regardless of the score and time. It's like that was probably my favorite and, you know, most proud coaching moment. So that's it.
It's funny because you sounded kind of like Coach Carter when you said that when we play our game, we at the end we're gonna be there. I always think about that when my team be behind in real games.
Yeah.
And I think about that last game they played at the end of the movie, and he said that. So that you kind of sounded like that when you was talking. So I just wanted you to know.
I gotta watch that movie again, man. I ain't seen it in a while.
Man, I watch it about once a month. But so since we, you know, diving into your memories and stuff like that, so what was there a basketball player that inspired you to play basketball or get into basketball?
Kobe Bean Bryant, and that was my introduction. When he was on that three-peat, when he got the first championship, man, I was like 5 or 6 around that time. And that's what really kind of got my introduction into the game. And that's probably like my all-time favorite right there, man. Like, as just the guy that time, you know, he was that man around the time. Like, he's on a three-peat. Like, who else is better than you and harder than you at that time? You just won 3 in a row. And so I can't go with Shaq. Like, you're 7-1, bro, or 7-2. I can't root for you. I'm a little guard. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not finna root for you. Like, no offense. It's just like I'm a guard, so I'm gonna go with the guard. So Kobe got me into the game. But then over time, I started getting into the game a little bit deeper, and I started understanding how I play. And it's like, you know, Kobe don't fit me exactly, man. I can't play like Kobe. You know, all the pump fakes, 20 pump fakes in one spot, you know, jab stepping 30 times. Like, I understand that more now, but when I was younger, like, you don't want to play like that for real. Like, I started getting him by this guy from Marquette around 2003 by the name of Dwayne Wade. Started seeing his game a little bit, started seeing highlights and stuff, started hearing him breakdown of his game. And it's just like, dang, you know what? Real athletic. Okay, I'm kind of athletic. Really fast. Oh, I'm kind of fast too. You can't shoot that well. I was like, yeah, I'm not the best shooter either, you know. But, you know, crazy finishing layups. Oh, man, I can do that too. Dang, that sounds like me. That's my favorite play. Now, just that quick, just because I related to his game a lot more than I could Kobe's game. Like, I still respect Kobe and how he played, but D-Wade game fit me a lot more, so I could take more from D-Wade than I could from Kobe. So, those two probably like the biggest influence that really got me. Kobe got me into the game, and D-Wade helped me take it to another level, I'd say. And of course, you got players like AI. Just probably my top 3, man, just as far as like overall impact, man. Like AI is big for the culture.
Of course.
Got to throw AI in there, man. But those probably easily my top 2, and I'd probably throw AI in there as my 3rd one. But yeah, those are players that really got me into it.
But it's crazy. You go from what people would say is the second best shooting guard, Kobe, first being Mike. You go from Kobe to who most people say the 3rd best shooting guard in Wade. So I see you like that little shooting guard position.
Yeah, man. I was a little guard growing up, man. Like, I like that's not my necessarily my playing style overall right now, but like growing up, like that was what really attracted me to D Wade because it's like the way he played was how I played. I wasn't really a point guard that much at the time. I ain't had the handles like that. It was just like I was athletic and fast, so I made my move and I'm by you. So it's like what dribble for? Like I'm already past you. I'm at the rim now. So that's more that fit my game a little bit more. So that's why I clung to D Wade. Like back then, the two guards weren't handling the ball like that. So it's like I'm slashing, I'm cutting to the rim, I'm driving off of one or two dribbles, and I'm there. So that's what kind of claimed me to them more.
All right, man. So let's get away from basketball a little bit. Go more into your personal life. So what you like to do in your spare time when you're not training or working in your businesses or anything like that? What do you like to do in your spare time?
I'm a real simple man. I'm not that complex. I chill out, man. I spend some time reading. I like to watch a little Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, all that stuff. My little superhero movies, cartoons, chilling with friends every once in a while. That's it, man. Like I'm real simple. Like man, I don't do nothing too fancy, too complex. Just chill out for a minute, spend some time reading, watching movies and stuff. Like nothing too crazy.
All right. So what shows are you currently watching or movies that you recently seen?
Uh, like a week or two ago, I just finished watching the whole Marvel thing in a row, all the Marvel movies.
It's tough.
It took like 5 years, man. It felt like 5 years trying to watch everything, but I watched it all the way through. Right now, I don't watch TV too much, man. Besides, get back into watching basketball games more. But currently watching One Piece, little anime, trying to finish that through.
Okay.
It's tough, but I'm getting through it. I watch a little comedy stuff here and there just to ease my mind. Dave Chappelle, trying to go back and watch his show. That's my favorite comedian, man. So
The GOAT, man.
that's the GOAT, but that's my guy, man. But watching his stand-ups and stuff on Netflix and his old show. And that's pretty much it, man. I don't watch too much stuff. I like to digest everything one at a time and just like watch 30 things and try to consume it all like that. But that's it right now. One Piece, Dave Chappelle, a little movies here and there when I can.
All right. So what would you say is your favorite book that you've read? Or are you currently reading anything right now? Like, are you in the middle of something?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a book I'm reading right now. It's called Outliers. And it's a real interesting book, man. It changed a little perspective on how I view stuff that we've been taught to see. It's a real nice book, man. Basically, it's just like the people that we call geniuses and like the standouts of like basically the outliers of what we deal with is like we just see them as like the one of a million type of person. They just got lucky because of X, Y, and Z. But it really breaks down the details of like how it's not really luck. It's not just it's really like an opportunity that was presented to them and they capitalized of the time and everything they were from. It's like it's a really interesting book. Like it shifts your perspective on how you view that stuff. But my favorite book, that's a tough thing, man. Because I pull from so many different places of like genres of books that I read and topics of books. I can't really have a favorite. One of them, I'll get a PG-13 version of it, was the subtle art of not giving a care, to say to say the least. The subtle art of not giving a F.
You know the author of the book?
Mark Madsen or something like that. It's a real nice book, man. I like it. That's one of my favorites. The Alchemist is a real nice book. I like that story. And this book called Dare to Be a Man. Like I read that when I was in college, and that really helped me. Like in college, you dealing with that that transition from like going from your parents' house to like a new beginning of how to be a man, and like learning responsibility for real for at that point, really maturing. So that book came along at a real good time for me, and that's one of my favorites too. I read the Kobe book, Mob Mentality. It was cool. It's just nice perspective. I like that book, but those probably some of my favorites right now.
All right. So, what would you say is your favorite anime since you mentioned anime?
My favorite anime. I know I'm be one of them guys, but Naruto, man. Like, I
Ain't
got
nothing
to.
wrong with that.
I got to, man. Naruto, man. It's too many characters I can pull from there that I feel like I got a connection to. It's just too many storylines, too many story arcs that just hit home for me to not say Naruto. My Hero Academia is up there.
Another good one.
That one's real cold, bro. Like the way that storyline, it was kind of annoying at first with the boy crying all the time. I was like, it's the main character, man. Like, I supposed to superhero and you crying all the time. You a little punk, bro. Like everything make you cry, bro. Like, so it was a little annoying at that part. But then overall, like he developed it. It's a good storyline. One that's really interesting to me. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but Assassination Classroom. You seen that?
I've heard of it. I haven't actually gotten into it yet. Is it good? It's good.
It's interesting. It is kind of good. It's real weird overall, but it's interesting, man. It's good. Like I took a break from it because it's hard to finish through for me, man. Like it's good though, but it's just a weird storyline, bro. Like I don't want to say too much. Basically, the whole thing is it's this classroom. I think it's a high school now, but it's a high school classroom, and their job basically is to assassinate their teacher. And like he's legit standing there like, all right, bro, this is how you're supposed to kill me, X, Y, and Z. And basically they're there to like kind of learn how to assassinate their teacher. No matter what they do, no matter how they try, they can't kill this man. Like he's invincible. And it's like that's what made it interesting because it's like I heard about it and I was like, that don't even make sense, bro. Like, so I had to watch it after the first couple of episodes. I was like, oh, okay, I kind of dig this. So it's like that's just went off the radar that I feel like most people probably ain't gonna bring up. So I like that one, man.
Yeah, I looked at it on Hulu. I saw it on Hulu. I read the description. But at the time, I was kind of into One Punch Man. I was watching One Punch Man at that time.
I forgot about that. That's one of my favorites too.
You got 5 favorites of everything. But no, they be hard. It'd be hard to decide. So I'll just say, especially in anime, there's a lot of great animes out there. But so we winded down to the end, man. So next question: What was the main reason you allowed me, Nelson Haskin, to be your co-host for the BeBall Jones podcast? Because I mean, you have ultimate decision. Obviously, you know it could have been just the BeBall Jones podcast with just you. Could have been BeBall Jones podcast with anybody. So you know, whoever you could have, anybody you wanted to be on there. So what was the ultimate reason you was like, it's going to be BeBall Jones podcast with Nelson Haskin? What made you select me to do that?
Because it was an easy transition, man. Like we always be hitting each other up about, you know, basketball talk anyway, man. So you see something on Facebook, you'll send it to me, tag me in it, start talking about it. You see a game, something crazy happen, we hit each other up about it. So it was just like, what's crazy was I wasn't even trying to do the podcast for this year. My plan was to do it next year. Really? Just because of everything I had planned going on for this year. And I knew the time commitment and like the effort it takes to really commit to a project for me. I don't like to do it too much. I'm not a believer in multitasking, man. I like to commit to only a few things at a time. So like the way my focus is, I'd rather go in on one thing at a time. And it made sense if I wanted to do it. It made sense to have a partner that would cut down half the work, you know. So it's like for me to jump into it, for me to do it this soon, I need to have a partner. And for me to commit to, especially the level that we're going to and how hard we're going with it, I couldn't do it by myself, not this year at least. And so it's just like, it made sense for me to have a partner, and then you specifically, like I said, it was an easy transition. Like, I respect your knowledge on the game. We have a lot of times where we respectfully disagree on a lot of stuff. But I get where you're coming from and get your point. So it's like, no matter how much I disagree, I can see where you're coming from. And you don't come at me crazy where it's like, man, you dummy, da da da. Like, we ain't gotta do all that, like most folks do when they get on social media and stuff. So, like, I respect your thoughts on the game and how you present yourself and how you talk about it. So it's just like, it was an easy transition for us. It's just what I want to do is, I told you that man, you should do your own show, like do your own podcast or YouTube show, whatever.
You did tell me that.
Yeah, it's just like, because you the extrovert, you got you character when you want to, man. Just like, it makes sense for you. You already know the game, so it's just like, that's an easy fit for you. And you was like, you ain't had the time and everything, so it's just like, if I had to do it, I have to do it with somebody else right now. And you told me I should have a podcast or something, because I remember what you said for sure. But
I just appreciated your mental side of the game. You have a very mental outlook on it, less of a physical thing. Because I can tell you things you should do as an athlete, or as from the physical standpoint, or like just being on the court, knowing and seeing, doing what I tell other people they should do, or the advice that I give them. I've normally been in those situations. When you have a mental side of it, like what they should think, how they should act, how should they take care of themselves, things like that. And so that's really why I think you would be great to be talking on the game the way we are now. And so I think that those two things, and like, even with like how you said I'm the extrovert and you are kind of the introvert, I think those things, those dynamics are what make us work in a way. I think people will appreciate that our not being opposite, but being different in a lot of different ways. But we think similarly. Mm-hmm. It's funny because we're very different, but we think similarly. And we're into a lot of the same things. Like, we both love J. Cole. We both love the game of basketball. Both appreciate coaching. Both appreciate players doing things that aren't not necessarily seen in the box score. We always have those same appreciations for things like that. So we think very similarly, but we act very differently, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like we see the same thing, but different perspective on how we put it out there.
That's exactly it. We see the same things, but different. And so I think I just want to, I appreciate you selecting me to be a part of this. You could have had anybody. I know you probably around some other trainers and other players and stuff like that. So I appreciate this opportunity because, like you said, I am the extrovert. I can get on here and talk all day. And so I appreciate you giving me a platform to be talking on and speak on the game and stuff like that. So I appreciate you, bro.
Nah, man, I appreciate you helping me out. Because like I said, I want to be doing it this year, man. So you just helped me out with pushing me out my comfort zone just a little bit and push me to do a little bit more, man. So, like I need you just like you need me, man. It's a partnership. So my name might be the biggest and the one on there, but you play just as much of an important role as I do, man. So I appreciate you for real.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, man. But so we wind it down. So tell us exactly what you want people to take away from the BeBall Jones podcast. When people hear, what do you want them to walk away with?
Kind of like I touched on before, man. Just I want to be able to have. When you look at my whole career of everything that I've touched and everything I've been a part of, I wanted to be like, man, B brought something different to the game. Like he did it his way. He brought something different. Like at this point, everybody's pretty much doing the same thing. Like there's nothing really brand new at this point. Like it's all the same stuff being recycled. It just pushed a different way. And so I want whatever I bring to the table just to be looked at as a little bit different. And I think this podcast is a platform, not just me, but you too, to like present our different ideas, our different thoughts on the game. And just this way, being able to speak on certain stuff that might get misconstrued in the wrong setting. But, and it's our podcast, so we can pretty much do it how we want to do, man. We got the autonomy and the power to just run it how we want to. And so it's like being able to get your voice out a certain way, be able to get your ideas out and get your thoughts out to where it's like in an environment where you're accepted, basically, to like I ain't finna sit here and look at you crazy because of how you think and see the game. Same thing goes for how you gonna see me. So it's like it's a safe zone to share your thoughts and ideas. And so I want people to respect how we come off and our thoughts on the game and our perspectives. But overall, I want it to be like a different, it's a different experience, man. Like, we're not the only basketball podcast. I'm not the only basketball trainer. I'm pretty sure you're not the only college athlete to be on the podcast and talk. You know what I mean? So I just want what we bring. I want what we bring to the table to be a little bit different. I want to add something else of high value to that table that we're gonna be sitting at. So just being able to be a part of the certain discussions that we're gonna get into in certain topics and stuff, and just like to learn a little bit, to grow a little bit, for them to just see stuff from their perspective of how we see it. So that'll be a good takeaway, man. Just for them to be like, man, I respect where B coming from with that, man. Like, I might not agree, but I respect where he coming from. I get what he's saying. Man, Nelson talking crazy, talking about how he think this, that, and the third, but I get where he coming from, man. So overall, I want the respect and just like like I keep saying, man, just bring something of different value to the table, man. That's what I really want to do with this podcast. So I feel like we're gonna get there, man. It's gonna take some time, but like I saw somebody say this the other day, man. Like, this time gonna pass regardless. So however you spend this time, you can spend this time trying to figure it out and make it work, or you can just waste this time saying, you know, you wished it would have happened. Like, this time gonna pass regardless. So the next 5 years, these 5 years come one way or another. So you're gonna put the work in and try it at least, or you're gonna sit there and just wish you would have did it all this time. So I feel like we're gonna spend these next couple episodes overall, next couple years doing this podcast and just really putting our investment into the game and the culture of basketball. So I'm excited to see how this gonna go.
I like the sound of it, man. I'm excited for it. Excited for the future and what we got going on, man. I think it's gonna be good. I think people will grow to appreciate it. The ones that don't know or haven't heard of it yet, I feel like people will grow to appreciate our outlook and our perspectives. Because no, I mean, like you said, I mean, no matter what we say, whether you agree with us or not, we're gonna always back ourselves up. We're gonna always have facts and stats to back us up and prove our point. So at the end of the day, like you said, you could disagree with us, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to be like, I see where he's coming from. Because we're gonna show you where we're coming from.
Yep.
We're not just talking to talk. So I think people will grow to appreciate things like that in the end. Yeah. So lastly, bro, I think that's all the questions I have. So I mean, is there anything you would like? I know you got like business and stuff going on. Is there anything you would like to promo, like the people to know, like any kind of final words at this time?
Don't want a promo. So number one overall, like I said before, if you don't know now, you should know that I am a basketball trainer. Just in case that point never came across, hit me up for a session, man. Like, I ain't the greatest, I ain't the best trainer out here, but I'm growing just like I'm trying to help you grow. So hit me up if you want a session. If I can't reach with you and train with you individually, man, I'm putting a lot of content out on YouTube right now. Just trying to give back to that kid who can't afford training or, in a certain situation where he can't train with me because, the state or whatever. I'm putting out a lot of content on my social media and my YouTube, man. So follow me there. This year I'm launching a clothing brand called Progress is the Only Goal. That's a major thing for me. That's another reason why I need you to help me with this podcast, because I'm trying to start a clothing brand. So yeah, man, that's a big thing for me. The whole message and theme behind that brand is that a lot of times with, we're all, like, especially our generation, we're very ambitious. We got a lot of dreams and goals and ideas. And especially with us being so young, we can get overwhelmed with thought of not being there yet, whatever there is for us, that end goal that we see. So like, for you don't see yourself in the NBA yet. And it's like, dang, man, like, it can be overwhelming to think that I'm not in the NBA. For me being, a trainer in my position, it's like, I'm not having all the clientele yet. I'm still not, fully self-employed or, employed with just training yet. And it can be anxious sometimes, depressing at times, thinking that I'm not there yet. But if you shift your perspective from thinking, all right, I'm not at Z. I'm starting at A. I'm not at Z. So it's like, I got to go through the whole alphabet. Like, golly, man, like, So if you shift that perspective, thinking, okay, I'm at A, let me just focus on making my goal to get to B. Let me make my whole brand new goals to like make sure I'm taking the right steps and everything to get to B. Take this next step. So just making progress and just making that next step overall and showing growth rather than perfection. I'm looking for progress rather than just trying to be perfect and trying to be there. Because technically you're never going to be there. Like you're never going to just, okay, I'm in the NBA. Ooh, I won. No, now you got to fight to stay in the NBA. All right, cool. Now I'm still in the NBA. Now you got to fight to get better. You got to fight to keep your position. You got to fight to start. You got to fight to be an all-star. You got to fight to be a superstar. You got to fight for all these positions. So you're never done working. And so that can be a very anxious and overwhelming thought to like not be there in that end goal. So shifting that perspective to how can I get better today? What's the one thing I can do to get better today to shift my perspective and like really focus in on that? And there's a lot of analogies I done thought up to tie into this, man. Like I told you before, man, I haven't thought analogy out this podcast.
You haven't. I know last podcast you was telling us that you wanted to try to have a good analogy every episode, but you ain't throwing one out there yet. So
Bet. So perfect timing. So probably my favorite analogy I thought of to go with this, man. Well, not analogy, but like scenario to think of. It's like if you should like, all right, think about for you. If I told you to get 1% better every single day, how does that sound?
I mean, it doesn't sound hard.
Doesn't sound hard, right? All right. So now let's shift the perspective, put in a bigger picture. January 1st. All right. So I told you, all right, from this day on, 1% better this whole year. 1% better every day in a year, you'll be 365% better than you were at the beginning of the year.
It's very true.
And that when I first thought about that, that was completely mind-blowing to say like, dang, like 365% better than how I started off. Like that's mind-blowing. Like that's incredibly a different person. Then some people are like, all right, so I can't do every single day because I got stuff going on. I might have a family. I might have kids. I might have school, work, whatever. All right, cool. Give me half. So give me 130 something days. All right. That's still 130 some percent better. You're over 100% better than you were beginning of the year.
You're a whole new person.
A whole new person. But let's say, all right, that's too much for me, man. Like I can't even do that. Give me half of that. All right, so 1/4 of the year. About 3 months. That's still a little bit less than 100, about 90 some days, about 93 days maybe. That is crazy for you to be almost 100% better for 3 months. You go 1% better for 3 months every day, you're still almost 100% better. You're still a whole new person. So it's like, if you really think about if you really just focus on making progress and not just trying to be perfect, not trying to be the greatest overall, like be the best you can be the best Nelson that you can be. I can be the best B-ball, the coach B that I can be. But whatever your lane is, like you try to perfect your progress in that lane, you're untouchable at that point, man. You're a whole new beast at that point. And it's like when I like sat down and thought about that, man, like that really blew my mind. It's like for people to really understand that, like that's really a life-changing perspective to have, man. That progress is my only thing to focus on. I'm not focused on being the GOAT. I'm not focused on being in the NBA. I'm not focused on being this top-tier photographer or whatever. I'm not trying to be on HGTV. Like all the stuff, it can happen. I'm not saying don't go after that, but it's like to really sit down and just focus on being better today than I was yesterday. All right, now I'm going to be better than that. Now I'm going to be better than that. So I'm getting 1% better every single day. That's a game changer, man. So progress is the only goal with that clothing brand. And that's really a big thing that I'm pushing this year, man. So at the time this comes out, I was gonna close it out, man, but I'm gonna go ahead and take some more orders, man. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Just because it's you, man. You my guy, so I'm gonna do it for you, man. So if you wanna invest into this mindset, I don't even call it a clothing brand, but into this mindset of really focusing on like progressing your life and become a whole new person, man. Like I'll make sure the link is in this video, or however I can get it there. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, IG, YouTube, whatever, and hit me up there, or follow link in my bio and just get into one of these shirts, man. But that's a big thing I'm working on this year too, man. And of course this podcast, bro. So that's really all I'm working on, man. Trying to keep going as a trainer, my business side, and pushing this clothing brand and this podcast, man. It's my big focus this year. So
it's good, man. We look forward to what you have in the future. I know you're gonna keep on, like you said, progress is the only goal. So I know you'll continue to progress in everything that you do, and you're a hustler. So I'm sure you'll find success in anything, and if you're not, you'll find something else to find success in. So that's a wrap for this is the episode 2 of the BeBall Jones podcast with Nelson Haskin. I appreciate you, my brother, for letting me be the guy this time around. Let me be the host. Next episode, we'll actually get into a basketball topic. We just wanted to let you guys know who we are as people, who you were listening to, and getting this information from, so you really get a feel for who we are. And so next episode, we'll actually get into some actual topics, and you'll actually learn something from us other than about us. So we look forward to that. So thanks. That's a wrap, man. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe, and share us on every platform from Apple to Spotify to YouTube. So thank you, and we'll see y'all later next time.
Appreciate you.